Hill. In the news center this afternoon now is national political contributor Denise Gitsham and Kurt Bardella, publisher of the Watchdog Report on Substack and co-host of the Party Lines podcast. Before we dip into Anthony Fauci and dig into that a little bit more, I want to get you both on some breaking news we're just getting. Mitch McConnell issuing a statement that he has been discharged from the rehab center and will continue a recovery at home. Kurt, let me start with you because there has been a lot of concern. Some people wanting real proof of life of Mitch McConnell and that he's able to do his job. It's been 2 months since he was last actually seen in public.
Yeah. And again, I think we're all glad that he's been released from the hospital. That's good news. That's encouraging. I wish him the best from a health perspective, but he's still not actually doing his job. He's being afforded a luxury that most Americans, frankly, don't get. You don't get to not show up to work for months at a time. You don't get to say, well, I'm going to go work from home and maybe I'll be back at some point in the near future. You know, the people of Kentucky right now are down one United States senator and they deserve to have 2 of them. So if you can't do the job full time, you shouldn't be in the job at all.
Denise, your take?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. You know, like Kurt and I grew up in a Congress where when we worked on the Hill, we actually had to show up in order to earn our paycheck. And I just think that it is really sort of almost a cowardly way out for him to take. Like, if you can't show up to do the one thing people elected you to do, which was to take a vote, because you can't vote remotely as a senator, if you can't come and do the one thing people elected you to do, then it's time for you to make the right decision for Americans and step down. Get replaced. It is way past your due date, Mitch McConnell, and God bless you. I pray that you have the best recovery, but please step aside so we can continue forward with the important work of running this country.
Yeah, some would say at this time in particular. All right, let's get back to Congress. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the referral after being found in contempt of Congress, it's not a mandate, right? The DOJ is going to ultimately decide whether to take up this referral. Kurt, how do you expect the DOJ to handle this, and do you suspect they're going to take this up?
Well, if it's a weaponized DOJ, then sure, I guess they will, as Dr. Fauci's been perceived to be one of the president's enemies from day one. As a former House Oversight Committee person, I can tell you that, you know, the right to take the Fifth exists for a reason, and you don't get to throw people in jail for exercising it. You don't get to hold people in contempt of Congress for exercising their Fifth Amendment right. We've seen Republicans aplenty use the Fifth Amendment many times, Donald Trump being among them, Roger Stone being among them, Michael Flynn being among them, and whether they didn't get contempt, they actually got pardons for after being found of guilty of Congress. So again, I think it's inconsistent, and this is just a big waste of time. And no one in America right now is sitting here going, "Gee, I wish Anthony Fauci were testifying in front of Congress." I really want to know about that. They want to know about what you're going to do about Iran, gas prices, the economy. This is opportunity lost for Republicans, and if they lose in November, wasting their time on this stuff is why.
Denise, I'm pretty sure your take is going to be that there are some people in America that still want some answers, you know, following COVID-19. But the reality is some experts have suggested that Congress could have granted Anthony Fauci immunity to testify if they really wanted him to answer questions without fear of prosecution. Should Congress have done that?
Right.
And are there good faith questions that American people deserve answers to?
Well, of course we deserve answers to it. And this is where I don't understand why this is even a partisan issue. Listen, I feel like all Americans were affected by COVID, not just Republicans, right? How many people died? 1.2 million people died. That's like, there's so many people died. 1 in 280 people were affected by COVID. And so this is not a partisan issue. Why doesn't everybody want to get to the bottom of this issue, of the source? This is a relevant issue because it has affected so many lives and continues to. And so the fact that Democrats are protecting a man who has answers and refuses to share them, mind you, he was the highest paid government employee. When he left office, when he left his government post, he was worth $15 million. He came in with nothing, left with 50. So tell me that there's not something fishy going on that every American deserves to know the answer to. And to your blanket immunity question,
money game,
to your blanket immunity question,
you might want to look at that Trump family right
well,
now. Because they're billions of dollars. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, the blanket immunity should probably happen, Alicia. That's a good point.
To get the answers that the American people
we just
deserve
want the
and
truth.
not make it a partisan politic potential appearance. All right, let me ask you about this, the change in composition of Congress moving forward potentially come November. Kurt, the Democratic Socialist of America wing of the Democratic Party faces its next test next week in Wisconsin. You got State Representative Francesca Hong taking on a handful of moderates in a Democratic gubernatorial primary. Hong is a self-described Democratic socialist who spent the past couple of days walking back some controversial things she said in the past, particularly on social media, things like abolish the police or even cancel Thanksgiving. She said the latter was a bit of a joke, and she's kind of pulled back on the abolish police on just police reform. What will you be watching for in that race, and how much of a challenge will Hong's past comments be on Democrats in Wisconsin, but also nationwide?
You know, I think the question of this election comes down to, are you more concerned with the word socialist? Does that scare you? Or are you more annoyed and upset that the status quo in Washington has failed you over and over and over again? Promises made, promises broken. People ultimately, I think, especially in midterms, man, they look at this and go, the Republicans promised us everything under the sun if they got full, complete power. They got the power. What do we have to show for it? We got more gas prices. We got higher energy costs, higher cost of living. Nothing done on any of the issues they ran on in 2024. And so if Republicans think that, well, we're going to call someone a socialist and use that word to scare people, that's going to get the job done, I don't think it is this time. I think the worst label that you could have right now in this election, it isn't socialist, it's incumbent.
It's certainly a part of the discussion right now, and what many people are deciding what voters will do in November with that. Let me ask you both this. Let me start with you, Denise. Let's turn to another issue, the broad bipartisan resistance. You got California Congressman Ro Khanna saying that he's introducing a resolution to establish a data center bill of rights, which would give local communities the power to block AI data centers in residential communities or on farmland. Is this the sort of issue that could help progressives, appeal to more moderate voters?
Yeah, absolutely. This is not just an issue on the left, right? There's always NIMBYism. It's on both sides of the aisle when people don't want something in their community, even though they use it every single day. They need it. And I really need to go back and just address what Kurt said earlier, talking about socialism and not being worried about socialism. Have you read the DSA platform? If you care about the Constitution and democracy, socialism is anathema to
Pretty
that.
sure Republicans
they
gave
want
up
to
that
abolish
ghost on
Article 1,
January 6th.
2, and 3. They are advocating openly to abolish Articles 1, 2, and 3 of the Constitution.
Hey, we're throwing out the
DSA
Fifth
stands
Amendment
for
right now, so I don't think Republicans care
not
too
for
much.
capitalism, not for what Americans actually stand for.
Yeah,
so you
capitalism has
go
been
with
working too
yourself.
well
If
for
you
most
want to throw
Americans.
America under the bus, that's your choice in the name of political opportunism. But you watch out, because people like you, Kurt, who I absolutely love and I know is not a crazy socialist, you're the first in line. They are taking you out first to take over your party. Good luck.
I mean, I already watched. I got ran out of one party, the Roman party. So let's throw in the Democratic
we'll welcome
party
you
too.
back any day, Kurt. Any day, you're welcome back.
Kurt, what's your take though on these data centers, right? Because I think, as Denise mentioned in the beginning, there, this does seem to be a bipartisan issue. Not even just members of Congress, but across the country, people in red and blue states are a bit concerned about these data centers, what they're doing to their property value, what they're doing to their cost for electricity, or even things like water. Could this be an issue that either gets more bipartisanship within Congress or unites a really divided Democratic Party?
Well, I think really this is the issue that puts the folks who are in the pocket of big tech against the rest of us who think that, you don't get to put a data center in if you don't tell us how much energy consumption you're going to take, how much water consumption you're going to take, what you're going to do to offset the rising energy costs. We see in Tennessee that the data centers are now the largest puller of electricity, and that's why people's municipality rates are going up. That's a big problem. We got to do something about that. And so I think Ro Khanna is really smart putting out this data center bill of rights. I think anyone running right now, if you're running for office, you are for an AI data center moratorium. Here in Texas, where I live, Governor Abbott just did an AI data center moratorium. If you are out there on the record saying you like data centers, you're toast in November, because this is a hot button issue that's motivating everyone across party lines.
And Denise, really quickly, do you think this is something that could hurt Republicans? Because just the other day, President Trump was talking about these data centers, and I think his quote, what he said, not verbatim, was basically that if you're smart, you want a data center in your community, but without guide rails and guardrails here, is that a potential problem for Republicans?
Of course it's a problem. This is, again, not a partisan issue. People don't want them in their community. But here's what I hope Republicans do that nobody seems to be doing right now. Why doesn't someone who's a smart leader say, we need data centers? Because we are in a race for AI dominance against our greatest global adversary, China. This is something that we need. Can we not figure out, I mean, of all these huge brains and policy wonks in Washington, and how can we not figure out a way to get both, to both help the people, somehow lower their electricity, make it a positive thing that it's in their backyards, right? And also help us in this race for AI. Yeah, this is such a no-brainer solution that super partisanized, polarized leaders just really can't do anything but feed their base. That's sad. We should expect more from our leaders. They should be able to figure out how to solve problems, not create them or perpetuate them.
Denise, before I let you go, let me ask you this, a different topic here. WNBA player Sophie Cunningham recently weighed in on the controversy surrounding transgender athletes. She called the story a distraction and said that she wants to focus to return to basketball following quite a bit of a firestorm after ESPN published some comments last week from an interview she did back in March. What do you take away from this controversy? It's getting a lot of attention today in particular.
Well, she reminds me of one of my favorite basketball players from the Warriors, Draymond Green, who just loves to be hated. If there's a controversy to be stirred, it fires her up, and that's why we love watching him, and she's fabulous too. But listen, she's on the side of 75% of Americans on this issue. This is not an issue where it's not an 80-20 issue, right? This is such a clear-cut issue for Americans. The only people who aren't standing with her are people like the Minnesota Lynx head WNBA coach, who complains about men taking women's coaching jobs in the WNBA, but says that the players should have to deal with transgendered players so that biological women have to compete against biological men. Figure that one out for me. This is such hypocrisy.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. But Denise, Gitsham, Kurt Bardella, always appreciate talking to both of you. It's always a lively
Whatever happened to
conversation.
shut up and dribble? Whatever happened to shut up and dribble?
I'm not going to say where I stand on that, but I appreciate both of you guys. I appreciate your time. For a closer look at our nation's politics and exclusive